Take one. What's up? So welcome to my top 10 movies. Who am I? I'm Sean. So I've been doing my top 10 lists for a while now, but mostly for my friends and family, you know, like on the Facebooks, and before that on the MySpace, and before that in my bedroom for my Scooby-Doo. Yeah, I'm not popular. Figure why not share with the world, because, you know, you all care what I think. Now, my top 10 film. Whoa, that was intense. It's not that exciting. I mean, it's kind of exciting because I'm awesome, but it's not that exciting. Number 10, The Big Short. This is a film that lies out as simplistically as it possibly can the financial crisis that hit the housing market and all of Wall Street in 2008. Thanks, Obama. He wasn't the president. Well, blame him anyhow! This flick was good. It was funny and relevant, and it had a lot going for it, including a really stellar cast, a great script, and Adam McKay's best work as a director. Didn't really say a whole lot. Whenever there was a point in which the audience got maybe a little bored because they were talking about pretty complex financial issues that are not exciting, they would do something really creative, like cut to Margot Robbie in a bathtub. That's not a bad thing. Or Anthony Bourdain. That's not a bad thing. I was highly entertained by a movie that dealt with a lot of boring issues. They even make a point that this stuff is boring, and they make profit on people not being able to understand it because of how boring it is. But it broke down Wall Street and financial reform and mortgage... Oh, wow. I almost fell asleep saying that sentence. What are they doing, buddy? Oh, right there. Perfect. Number 9. Bridge of Spies. Oh, Steven Spielberg, can you do no wrong? Don't go watch 1941, or Always, or Indiana Jones Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, because he totally did wrong. But that's only 3 out of, what, 27 movies? Come on, give the guy a break. I love you, call me. Bridge of Spies is pretty fantastic. This will be his 10th film nominated for the Best Picture Oscar at the Academy Awards. The man has made 27 movies, 10 of which have been nominated for Best Picture. This one stands on its own with some really great performances by both Tom Hanks and Mark Rylance, and basically the whole ensemble. It's intense and funny at times when it needs to be. It's really Spielberg just being Spielberg. He knows how to create suspense even when you know what's coming because, you know, it's inspired by true events and you can Google it. I didn't do that. I will say it's a bit long, kind of dragged on at points, but it's a minor gripe for a really entertaining film. Number 8. Straight Outta Compton. Story time! 11-year-old Sean, that's me, lived in this tiny little town in Northern California where nothing ever happened. Thanks, Mom. And I had a Playboy magazine, back when they still showed the nudes. I didn't really know what to do with it, mostly because I'm like 10 or 11 years old, and because I couldn't like go around with it in my house showing my mom or anything. Hey Mom, look, I'm a Playboy. It sounded like Mickey Mouse. So a friend of mine down the street, probably the only black kid in the entire town, let's call him Tim. Wait, that was his name. Crap. Gerald. He offered to trade me for a couple of cassette tapes. I'll tell you what those are later. And up to this point, I had little to no knowledge of my own musical taste. I was kind of at the whim of what my mom thought. Thanks, Mom. Which was, you know, 50s and 60s oldies, Beatles, some 80s pop, like Cyndi Lauper and Wham. Actually, that's kind of awesome. Thanks, Mom. The first one was Aerosmith's Big Ones. No, I don't know why he had that. The second was Dr. Dre's The Chronic. And as a 10 or 11-year-old, this freaking blew my mind. Like, what was this sound? I'd never heard anything like it. I love it. I kind of had like a rap phase where I was really into Dre and Tupac and stuff. Didn't really know a whole lot about NWA at the time. I did know that they were the band that said, "Bad word, the police." So as far as the movie goes, really good, but let's get this out of the way. It's 2.5 hours long, and even more so than Bridge of Spies, really could have been cut down 20-25 minutes or more without losing any real tonal or continuity. A lot of that was what I call fan service. It was the movie's attempt to show the fans kind of what they want to see. Look, Dr. Dre worked with Tupac. There's Warren G at a party. Remember Snoop Dogg? He hasn't gone away in 25 years. Love you, Snoop Dogg. But they didn't really need that in the movie. I thought they were doing a great job telling the audience both why they were important for that time and creating these characters with full 3 dimensions without ever having to resort to that. There was no reason for Tupac to be in the studio and start a verse of California Love, even though that is the greatest song ever, maybe ever. For the most part, it didn't really do the whole Ray thing. The nobody's ever mixed rock and gospel like this before. He must be a genius. And the movie was filled with a lot of really great performances, and I was really happy to see that it got a nomination for the SAG Award for Ensemble because they were an ensemble. It was to its benefit that they didn't really cast any really well-known actors. Instead of seeing, you know, Michael B. Jordan as Dr. Dre, you were just able to see Dr. Dre. With the exception of Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr., who played Ice Cube, he looks a lot like his dad, but like this much off kind of bugged me. But not too much. Good flick. Go watch. Number 7, AntMan. The AntMan. AntMan. It's another Marvel movie about some poor schlub who finds a suit and saves the day because he just got powers that the world needed at the exact right time. In this instance, he can turn into someone the size of an ant. Clever title, huh? Is this movie better than, like, Spotlight or Trumbo on a technical level? No. It's not gonna get noticed for sound design at the Golden Globes or cinematography at the Academy Awards. But is it gonna be watched for years to come? Yeah. Yeah, it is. Because it's a fun movie. And a lot of times movies, superhero movies especially, try to take themselves way too seriously. I'm looking at you. Basically all of DC. Except for Suicide Squad. That looks awesome. Let's hope. Is this movie ever going to be accused of being boring? Nope. Marvel went serious with their second installment of the Avengers movie, and while I liked it, it was missing something that the first Avengers movie had. Missed some of the charm, even. Now, I love Joss Whedon. Call me. Serious, call me. I'll write for free for you. I'll edit for free. I'll make YouTube videos for you for free. But Ant-Man was able to do something that the second Avengers movie wasn't. It was able to make a truly funny, enjoyable action superhero movie that you didn't have to dissect every line of dialogue or every action sequence for clues as to what's coming in the next 5-6 years of the Marvel Universe. And yes, I know it is a gateway to the further Marvel Universe leading up to the Infinity Wars in 2018 and 2019, and yes, I am super excited for that. But Ant-Man, I think, just played better as a movie. It was fun. Marvel, for the first time, had kind of a crisis on their hands. This was their first movie that, since the Hulk, that they thought, this might not go well. This might be bad. We might lose money and thus lose interest in the brand as a whole. And for what could have been a pretty big mess, it turned out to be a pretty good film. Kudos. Number 6. Room. And that doesn't sound very promising. Let me explain. Room is a really good movie, and the acting of both Brie Larson and the kid, Jacob Tremblay, who plays her son, is just fantastic. The kid was great. I mean, kids rarely work in movies, especially drama movies that focus around them, because there's a really fine line with children, and they can get annoying really quick. But this poor kid, he never did. Even when he did things like throw tantrums, you just felt for him. You understood it. You understood what he and his Ma was going through. This movie is about a girl who is kidnapped and held captive in a shed for 7 years. And now with her 5-year-old son who's fathered by the kidnapper. And all this poor kid has ever known is what he calls room, is this tiny little shed. The first half takes place in room, and the second half takes place outside of room. But the obstacles they face in both are heartbreaking. Really, really heartbreaking. And Brie Larson was fantastic. Whether having to explain that they can't go back to room or trying to keep him away from the kidnapper that they call Old Nick. There was never a moment where you didn't feel empathy. The movie was intense and should be considered just one giant trigger warning. You feel so bad for these people even though you've likely never experienced anything close to what these people have. There is a deep empathy and they evoke it from the audience. It's pure, it's real, and this is a movie that wins awards for all the right reasons instead of baiting the voters because it's the hot topic of the moment. Looking at you, Eddie Red. Hello. Ooh. So it's like super late at night and I'm editing because, you know, that's when you edit. It's like a law. And I realized this video is actually going to be really long and I didn't want it to be. I wanted it to only be like 10 minutes. But I guess I just got a lot to say. This is going to be part 1 and I'll post that one part 2 right after this one. So you don't even have to like wait any. You can just like click and then watch the next half. We live in the future. And yes, I do look thuggish and Jesse Pinkman-like in my awesome beanie. You're welcome.